hard times, you know, hard winter. Well, I had a good, if quiet, period. I didn't really travel. I'd been up to New York those 9 or 10 days, so I just stayed here and got sick, but that was not bad. And it snowed, and you know, you enjoyed the snow, didn't you? Great. All right. Well, then tell me what you've been able to accomplish in piano.
My biggest fear was losing the technique.
Mm-hmm.
So at first I did a lot of the basic stuff just continuously.
Okay,
So,
that's good. That's always good. Oh, here, let me get that out of your way.
So on like the real pieces that you signed me, I can play them, but they're nowhere close to what I want
The
them
ones
to
that
be.
I signed you?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, well, we can just, but I'm glad you kept working on the foundation. I mean, that's technique. And also, I told you how to do scales, right? We worked on scales, or did I?
No, you didn't.
Okay, I can show you that, because you've done a lot of scales, and it'd be nice for you to just see how these are, you know, how you do these. I was just telling Megan, if you guys are interested, you know, seriously interested in the Bachelor of Music, it's gonna be, this semester, you've gotta up it to like 3 hours.
Mhm.
And how is your schedule, you know, in terms of the other classes? Full as usual, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little better this time though. But I did join the tennis team.
You joined what?
The tennis team.
Oh, okay.
So and their practices aren't. It's like about an hour in the middle of the day. So it's not.
Well, it keeps you active. It keeps you moving.
Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't know you played.
I don't.
Oh, so you.
So yeah, but I've gained 30 pounds. So I was like, I might as well do something.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, be careful of your right arm though, because I used to play tennis a lot, and in high school and in college. But you have to, when you're gripping the
Mhm.
racket, you know, you are stabilizing your wrist joint. Mm-hmm. And you're not doing racquetball, which allows you to sort of let the hand lever move. But tennis, it's not so, well, a little bit, but you just want to make sure you don't overgrip and overdevelop your right arm muscles. Are you right?
I am right-handed.
Okay. So anything else you want to report before we sort of get into a few things you played?
Nothing I can think of. I have a lot of my main problem with my schedule. I have a lot of night classes, so I don't know how that happened, but
Oh, wow. Okay.
so my class today, I have a class from 5:40. Well, I've already had 2 classes, and so I have a class from 5:40 to 7, and then from 7:05 to like 10 o'clock.
I
So-
hope that's the busiest day. That's an awfully busy day.
Yeah, and it's like that Wednesday too. So.
A Wednesday. All right.
So
Okay.
I mean, I have,
think so. You'll be able to. Well, we're going to try to start the studio class at 4:30. So if you can be in this, you know, it's Wednesdays. So you start 5:40.
mhm.
It means you may miss some of it, which is not good. But I know there are an awful lot of night courses. So what is the course you're taking at 5:40?
5:40 is Introduction to Sociology, and then,
And that's a required, one of your
Mhm.
signature required courses.
or
And-
actually Sociology is my other major.
Oh, okay.
No, I lied. 5:40 is Child Free, and then the 7 o'clock class is Introduction to Sociology.
Child free. What is?
It's a class about Black females who choose not to have children.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was just one of the. It's a sociology class. It was one of the special topics, and.
Well, now, are you sure you can? I told Megan, you know, if you guys can't keep up regularly 3 hours a day, like to average per week, you would want. I'm going to push you up to at least 18, which is a lot of practice. But you know, and that's the kicker when if you're on a BM track. If you want to drop back to a BA at some point,
Mhm.
we'll see. So you may have to decide, okay, I can't take all these courses and still be a Bachelor of Music major
Okay.
in piano.
Yeah, I mean, but now I have quite a healthy amount of time in the middle of the day.
Okay.
So
Well, you'll see how
as
many.
for now, I'm okay.
Okay, and you'll just have to wait and see how many assignments these courses. So you've got 2 sociology courses.
Mhm.
You've got theory, music theory.
Mhm.
You've got you're not got history, you've got this. You don't have, of course, 116, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
I have Spanish and I have 3 other classes.
no. Tell me what your classes are, because I may have to advise you to drop one. You've got sociology,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got,
I have
okay, because that,
Yeah,
is
and
not-
I was just gonna talk to you about that. I have to get the major card.
oh, yes,
Yeah.
okay. Mhm.
Boop boop. What am I doing? Okay. Oh, the other classes are just like dance and yoga, so it's not big.
Oh, but how many of those? I mean, you don't want to have, you've got also chorale,
Mhm.
and that takes up quite a bit of time. I mean, that's, yeah, that takes up a lot, because it's a lot of rehearsals. But, with a concert, but, so, what, yeah, name your courses.
Okay, so it's just music theory, oral skills, dance,
So that's one whole thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Dance, child free, introduction to sociology, yoga, chorale, Spanish, and that's all.
Okay, name me the full ones. You've got, let's say that piano plus chorale is like a full
A full
course.
one, okay,
Mhm.
and then
And then you've got Spanish is full.
A full.
At least 5 days a week, doesn't it? Or,
it's only 2 days a week.
oh, so it's advanced Spanish.
Mhm.
And then you've got 2 sociologies.
Mhm. And then dance is like.
But there was one other course that I missed. So 2 sociologies,
Mhm.
Spanish,
Yes.
piano and ensemble, that's 4. Was there another one you said?
Dance is like 0.25.
That's 0.25, uh-huh.
Yoga
Yoga is
is
point-
0.5.
5.
Yes.
Oh, and tennis is 0.25.
No, tennis isn't a credit,
It's
or
not
you don't.
credit.
I don't get credit for it. It still gets on my.
Okay, so 0.5 is yoga.
Mhm.
Is that a class, or is it, I mean, it's in part of the movement program of the dance
Yes.
program?
Something, or no, it's not part of the dance. It's just something that I have to take for
Okay.
general education.
I just keep thinking that there's another big course, Spanish and 2 sociologies, that's it?
Mhm,
And
that's all.
theory, that's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, and theory.
Mhm.
And then piano and ensemble, that's 5,
Mhm.
plus dance
And yoga.
and yoga.
Yes.
So it's 5.75, plus tennis.
Yes.
You may or may not be able to do it.
Okay.
But you'll see, you've got a week, you've got to really look and see how many things are required. Because, listen, you're going to get through all of your requirements long before you're supposed to graduate. And you can't graduate in 3 years with a Bachelor of Music in Piano. You know, you never meet the requirements. So, wow, okay. Let's wait and see. You young folks, I love your enthusiasm. I just wonder about the realism sometimes. However, one thing I do not allow you to do is start getting sick, you know, and I know so well myself, everybody does, what a good night's sleep does and what sleep deprivation disallows. You can't think straight if you're sleep deprived. Yada, 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 but you know. Okay. Let's see. Your sight reading's good, isn't it? Pretty good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. Ah, the bench. Don't we love it?
Well, thanks to Megan.
All right. Now, so yeah, show me some things, what we decided you were going to be working on. Tell me what you did.
Prelude number 12 in G minor.
Mm-hmm.
The Chopin Prelude, Opus 28.
Exactly.
The Kramer E.T.
Right. That's fun.
The Schubert Impromptu.
Impromptu, exactly.
6 variations. I only did 1, or I was assigned.
Oh, yeah, but I'll be working with you on that carefully.
I like those.
Yeah, those are great.
And To a Wild Rose.
Do a wild rose.
Yes.
How'd that get tucked in there? You've just never done it before, right?
No. That was my favorite out of all of them.
What, to a well run?
Yes.
It's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, not because it was the easiest, but
It really
because
is. All right, do you want to start with, let's see where you're at. Show me a little bit where you're at on each one of these. I'm just curious, okay? Good job, actually. A couple of inaccurate notes. Do you know where they were?
Yes.
If something this easy for you, you want to make sure you don't.
It was
Yes.
it was a sign.
Let's try it again so we can circle them so we don't get used to any sloppiness. You're too good for that. Legato, just a G, it's got that line over it, so it's just a legato. Dee, da, like a child. Right, guitar. Dee, da, nice phrasing. Legato, legato, yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
so.
That's it, good.
That was right here.
There's that E,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was the natural.
Soft. Now you can start, check this out. Yeah, let's start, yeah, start there again. Nice, bring that melody out. There you go. Now sing it Good. just, you're not gonna work on it much more. This is simply just top up, and I'll show you, an exercise in voicing out the, this, you just really, it's like a basic stroke, musically played. And you see the differential between the melody So I'm really just doing this, and meanwhile, you know how we do the that? It's right in there because the idea, the first stage of training you guys have done is that's a louder note, and these are much lighter. They're not. We don't do that. We do. So we don't do. That's too loud. So it's. Actually quite well a lot of the time. But just see if your basic stroke looks really good. Make sure you release there. So the ability to voice beautifully like that and have that a really beautiful tone is a hallmark of this kind of training. So let's see just the right hand, just for a moment. Good. Yes. Hear it. You hear when you drop notes sometimes? You are advanced enough now that we can start really talking about how you create long, beautiful phrases. That's the hallmark of a first-class musician, is the ability to make these beautiful shapes. Unlike in the organ, though, we've got the ability to graduate dynamics, right?
Yes.
And Dr. Olson yesterday in a master class with a lot of young high school kids that came in from all over the East Coast, actually, for an organ competition over at School of the Arts in between these two schools. They're terrific kids, but some of them, either because of their youth or someone had asked them, or their brain hadn't developed yet to that point musically, they would play rather, one young kid, he's only 13, though, he's a kid, I mean, really a kid. Like, everybody's a kid to me, but, and I'm a kid to the Muellers in their 90s, but, I mean, it's all relative. But the little kid, it was sort of, totally robotic. I mean, just robotic, yeah. No. Now, you can say, well, wait a minute, Dr. Let's just think you can't do that on the organ. You're right, but if you ever study organ, which you really should, take advantage of Dr. Olson at some point, add that on, you get up 7 or 8 courses, then you'll find out that by your articulation, the length of the notes, and the placement, you can actually make it sound like, even though the organ's going ba, 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 ba. So we pianists, what I'm saying is, we have a lot more responsibility, because this is a percussive instrument, my dear, and it's really easy for it to sound percussive. I think you phrase very well. The thing I'm going to start asking you to do is to really listen, find out what you want for a line. Ba, ba. Like, is it that? Is it ba da dee da? Is it ba da dee da? Or ba da dee da? 3 choices that was. And then you put them together over a period. So you're going to have to start listening to whether you drop a note or not. It's a lot to ask, but you're musical. And those are high-level things that musicians, young musicians who are serious and good with talent, to whom much has been given, much will be expected. So, all right, well, that was that one. So you're coming along with that. So you would work, just listen, this is the kind of thing you'd work maybe 10, 15 minutes on to work on that. That would be that. Because I want to help you structure your practice time. So what's another one? Show me something else. It's a pretty piece, though, isn't it? I mean, that piece could be like a a piano prelude. You know, you do so much playing for people walking in or whatever, but it's beautiful. Or it could be like at a church in a certain type of setting.
You know,
It's lovely.
Speaking of, I have to find something to play for prelude and postlude at the interfaith worship for Black History Month. So.
Oh, what day is that? What
It's the first
date?
Thursday. Oh, it's this Thursday.
It's this Thursday. Well, that's a beautiful piece. You wouldn't want those page turns. Do you know how to get your pages when you have to do stuff?
I do. I just
Okay.
this was a quick job.
Yeah,
I'm
you just
trying
want to,
to-
okay,
yeah.
okay, all right. All right, now, so I went through 3 or 4 different stages of this piece, right? I mean, but let's just see, you're gonna put it all together for me? See how it goes? Or-
This piece or
Oh, well, are you,
Oh,
the
I
Chopin?
thought-
Yeah, the
piece?
Chopin. No, not that,
this
yeah.
piece. Okay,
Yeah.
so I haven't. When you said you went through 3 stages of the piece, what do you mean?
as I remember, I told you to just, I may not have, but I tell everybody, so I don't know why I wouldn't have, but if you don't remember, you don't remember. And I didn't do it perhaps. But the first thing is just practicing your basic stroke to make sure you're very free and released on these. And it doesn't have to be musical per se, it's more just play them with a solid basic stroke. And then you were going to work on just this, which I'm sure you could do very well. And then you would do the fingerings. But at your stage, you know, you may be able to read this with a nice basic stroke and play it legato and play it the way it's supposed to be. So where are you at in your work of this, if at all, you know?
I don't know.
Have you started it?
I have, but I don't. Somehow this got skipped over. And
Okay. Let me just show you those stages briefly.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
take
I don't
yeah.
remember.
Take your third finger, and you're going to just read. You can take your pedal off, actually, so we're not going to think music. We're going to think moving from one place on the keyboard to another. Only one time you have to do it this way, just this once. So you go. So it's going to be a one-note stroke, and with a really good arch. So you start really thinking about your arch. 3. Right, and a good solid, don't let that hand wobble, those bones wobble. And then 3, so just 3. Right, you're going to use your third finger all the time, solid arch, without wobble. Good, 2, G, G, tom, 2, 3, tom, 1, 2, 3, tom, and check that arch too. Now keep the arch firm. Keep this not tight, but just see that in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Keep that shape. Don't let it go like that.
Okay.
Let's not release it all the way. Now let's keep a beautiful arch.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to think of
I know, it's too many things to think of. And then do 1, 2. Good. 2, 3. Now do all these with a peep. See if you, whoops.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's an F sharp. Do that a little bit with more of your. Do that more. Wash my hand. Not my hand, but my forearm. You almost got into that, which is a nice coordination, but it's your hand lever. Let's do the forearm lever.
Okay.
All right, try that again. Slow it down if you like. Solid landing with that. 1, 2, back to the tempo. Good, and scan that arm. You're doing great. Oh, there's your hand going. Forearm.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, can you just explain keeping your arch, but not doing that, but then using just kind of just keeping your arch and using your
Just always asking me these questions. Yes, that's a good
I'm
question.
really
Hop up,
trying.
I'll show you. That's right. I love your questions. Now, the question then is how do you keep?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep my arch, but then when
If
you're trying to keep my arch, I'm using the wrong thing.
No, you're not doing the wrong thing. What I'm doing is a slight modification of what we did last semester, which was letting everything go, lop-eared bunnies, and just letting this hang. Just letting the hand hang. Look in the mirror, you can see it there. There's the hanging fingers hand. Now, as you become more and more, adept at playing and becoming a fine professional, that is the look you want. Now, I'm not really, it's not that I'm tightening anything, I'm not holding that little arch in place. I'm just not allowing it to, all these bones to just kind of flop into gravity like Halloween. Now, that's a trick though, because your hand, let me see your hand again, you've got long, beautiful fingers. I have to admit that my arch is probably more developed than your arch. That's a no-brainer. I'm so many more years older than you are, so I've been using these muscles that way. It's like body sculpting, it's like bodybuilding. Of course my arch is going to be pronounced, and of course it's going to be easy for me not to lose it. It's hard for me to kind of let it go because I have too much musculature that's actually curling it in a little bit, which you're developing. So it's that look. So it's just a neat and tidy, beautiful. It looks very natural. You don't even notice it. So you're not actually lifting as high.
Okay.
That's it. So watch. So you can slow the eighth notes down. Solid landing shift. So you're also shifting the center of gravity. You're shifting your alignment to be right behind every single note, solid as a rock. This is how you develop incredibly solid technique. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, 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 here. Now you're going to be dancing. And so much about dance has to do with balance, right?
Yes.
So when you're moving from, and you've danced before, right?
I have.
So when you're moving from here to here, you don't want to be doing that, right? So we're moving here, and you know where you're going to. So if you're going to go here, 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 then what you work on in dance, obviously, is being balanced and over where you're supposed to be. And you have to plan ahead for that. You're doing it. If you're dancing, that's your dance floor. It really is. So you're using your hand-arm thing, this apparatus, they call it the playing apparatus, to do exactly what you'd be expected to do in dance, which is to align your bones properly over where you're stepping. So that's it. So you got to look ahead, just like in dance. So try that last one right here. Slow it down a little bit so you really focus on shifting the alignment and balancing, being solid. Mm-hmm. And each one a basic stroke, you lift just a little bit more than that. And forget about the arch for now. Lift just a little bit so you have such a beautifully free wrist. I don't want to lose that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do it
Once again, yeah, so lift a little bit more. Don't worry about what I told you earlier for now.
Okay.
Just solid as a rock, what you were doing. Great lift, yeah. Good. Bravo. Do that again. Correct that. Yeah, ba, ba. You were a little behind. Yeah. It's like a dancer. A little slight da, ba, ba. Slight misstep. Okay, good. So that's the first stage. Second stage would be to do that with your pedal. So you're going to begin to feel like you're getting more into the beauty of the piece with the third finger. Yeah. See, the third finger, why do I do the third finger? Why am I asking you to do
It's in the middle of the hand, so it's the strongest and easiest to do with basic strokes.
Exactly. Not over here, over here. And I'm actually just asking you to work on basic strokes in this, because each one of these is basically a basic stroke, as it were. So eventually it's going to be like that with the different fingers. So the next stage would be, so write these down actually on the other side there. First stage, just right here. Yeah. So you have that. Do you smell the peppermint?
I do. At first I thought you had like a peppermint in your mouth, and I was like, that's a really strong peppermint. And
well, is it too strong?
No, I thought it was really strong because I thought it was like something you had in your mouth, and then I realized
It's a diffuser, yeah.
Tell me about it.
I've really gotten into aromatherapy over the break. I mean, I've gotten all these wonderful things because they just make me feel happier.
Yeah, it smells really nice.
Yeah, it kind of energizes all of us in the middle of the afternoon. Okay, so the first one was third finger. So that's non-legato, we call that, non, N-O-N, and dash legato, without pedal. That's number one. Balancing over each note. Okay, number two. So you just list them. Number two. What was number two? What do you remember?
You use the pedal, you still use your third finger.
Third finger, right.
This way you're getting more into the melody.
Into the melody. We'll just begin to sound more like the beat. We'll sound a little bit. Okay, and then third will be, you're going to use the fingers that you would normally use for this. Did I just put sun in your eyes?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's not at a weird.
That's kind of nice, yeah. So you're going to actually, and this could be done over a period of 10 minutes, you know. Now, you'll have to figure out what those fingerings are. But then you can do that with your pedal. That's with pedal. And this is all right hand. Fourth stage, practice just the chords in every time they change, as if you're analyzing them for theory. Really know what these chords are, so that you don't, so that from the get-go you hear the sound of these gorgeous, profound, tragic chords, and don't make missteps. So much of music, a lot of what we do is trial and error, but we try to diminish that because you don't want a lot of missteps. I've told you all this from neuroscience, that if you fire those neurons to do that, they're going to wire together. And if you're playing inaccurate notes, then the next time you get to that chord, your brain's going to go, what do you want me to do? I mean, you get to a fork in the road, and the brain doesn't know which one to take. Okay, so try to be accurate. So, okay, one chord, just the chord, each chord, every time it changes slowly. So you get the chords. And then you put it together, that's number 5, you do the left hand. And you may use your pedal with that. So you just play it as it is, musically, with pedal. And very gently, gentle undulation. And each chord won't be the same loudness. You're going to use those chords to make phrases. And then, my dear...
Instead of the melody?
Huh?
Instead of the melody?
Yeah, because you know why? You tell me why. If this were a singer, what do you think a singer would be doing on that note?
Crescendo.
Exactly. Good answer. Can you do that on the piano?
No.
So Chopin, being clever as he is, gives the illusion of crescendo of the melodic line. You see, if you were playing that on a cello, a violin, or whatever, or flute, any other instrument except a bass drum, you could make that crescendo. But we are playing a percussive instrument. Which note decays right out of the chute? It's like a car. You buy a new car and they say it depreciates $5,000. The note depreciates almost immediately. It does, just bam. So and we can't control it, and that's one of the reasons why pianists, I think, move their bodies a lot and everything, because we're trying to make us feel like we're actually going. We want to do that because we're musical. You're going to do it in the left hand, and then you put it all together. And I would put it together like 2 bars at a time at first, So you can kind of coordinate all this. Do you see how many little tasks there are?
Yes.
That are part of, and we break it down in here. We like the Millman article. You break everything down into small component parts, master each, then start knitting them together like piecing a quilt. Did anybody in your family ever make quilts?
Yes.
Well, you know what it's like. My grandmother would just sit there with a basket, and we would give her all sorts of materials from dresses or whatever, and she'd take pinking shears and just cut squares. She just cut squares. So the basket had all these squares, and then once she had all the squares, she would start sewing 2 squares together. 2 squares, and then she had a basket full of 2 squares. And then she would put 2 and 2 together, and then she'd have a basket full of 4 squares. You get my point.
Mm-hmm.
It really is analogous, so. Who made quilts in your family?
My great grandmother.
Oh, fantastic. You still have some of them?
I do. I have one.
Oh, yeah. Treasure it. Keep it safe, you know. And it was quilted by your family? I mean, my family quilted also. I mean, they would put it on a frame, and they had the pieces, and then they would quilt it. Is this a piece quilt, or is it just like big pieces of material that are stitched?
It's with a separate.
The stitch, yeah, that's the quilting. Ours were put together, I mean, because we had feed sacks and all sorts of things that you could cut up into little squares. So it would be these different crazy quilt kind of things, or just squares. And then she'd have to take it over to my Aunt Ethel's and put it on the big quilting frame. And then they'd start the stitching,
Okay.
which is the quilting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because what Granny was doing was just piecing. And what quilting is you have batten, you have cotton, you have several layers, you know, you have your lining, then you have cotton batting, that's what makes it warm. And so they stretch all that onto a big quilt frame, and then women sit around and then start stitching. You know, it's a wonderful art. Now, I'm sure you may have more in your family than you think. Good, all right, so that's that. Now, what was another one that I assigned you? Let's make sure you have plenty of work on this. You can work on this about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
I would work on the really fine tuning the Bach. I'd say you only, or that little prelude, yeah, the mandolin. You only need 15 minutes on that, and you don't even, and that's just a warm up for 4-note stroke, and then 30 minutes for the Chopin. So you may want to spend more. Now the next one, let's see. Okay, now this is your yay.
this is
This is fun.
It is. I really do like this song. I wish I would have spent a lot more time on it.
You did, yeah.
I
You wish you had.
I wish I had. So
Okay.
okay, just.
Well, let's see where you're at with it, and then we'll see how we need to break it down a little bit more,
Okay.
if at all.
No, you will. Sorry, I'm just.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, now,
I'm not
good.
sure where I am.
well, here's what we're gonna do. Now, because I saw that little left-hand pinky of yours just curling in like a little, what was that? It's like Jack in the Pulpit, these little plants that do that. So,
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
hmm,
I didn't even.
You didn't know
I'm
it,
not even
yeah.
aware of.
sensory motor amnesia strikes again. All right, here's what you're gonna do. Hop up, I'll show you.
Yeah.
That's all right, you haven't
I'm
done it.
playing it wrong. Like when I say wrong, I mean like not on model.
Right, exactly. Well, because this is the challenge, because you came with a really, really fine technique, but it was a slightly different model, exactly. And so, there's something they call in neuroscience, and you all get sick of my talking about neuroscience, but
I love it.
I love it.
So don't shy away from
Good,
it. Okay.
I won't, good to know. Differentiation and de-differentiation. Differentiation is on the motor cortex when you are able to differentiate, you know that term. I hate when you use the same words for the definition, it's not good. But to differentiate, just to separate out the use of these muscles that are behind the little finger and these muscles when you shift over to the little finger. So I'm on the fourth finger. So I go from this set of muscles to this set of muscles in a heartbeat and release these in a split second as I go to that. Now, if you can do that, if de-differentiation would mean, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting this right, because differentiation is to be able to feel the difference between using this set, and this set. But if you're not differentiating, what happens is this. So in other words, you weren't able to stop these muscles that hold this up from firing these signals. And what happens is you've got more, your motor cortex has a lot more firing than mine. Mine's much more efficient than most students. Or a lot of pianists, because I've worked on this. So in other words, they say that extremely efficient practiced pianists, people who really do it this way, have much less activity in the motor cortex. That makes sense, doesn't it? Because we're not, if you're doing that, you're firing a lot more neurons to hold, to contract all these muscles, whereas I'm just doing just those muscles that I needed. So it would look like that. So what you're learning to do, you can do one-note strokes slowly. Or so just that would be a good way. Now look in the mirror. You see over there. You don't see my little finger getting. I'm not even using it. Now here, you weren't using it either, but you were doing that because that was the old rotor. So you've got to differentiate.
I even started, like, I didn't play it as fast to stop that.
Right, good,
But it's
good.
still.
Well, you're going to do it two ways. I want you to break it up into just little segments. Actually, you can do measures, but big ones will be here. And then another big one would be here. So that's 4 bars measures.
Yes.
Then this is just its own self. This is tougher. Right here, this is tougher. So you're gonna have to do hands separately. Definitely hands separately from whatever measure that is, which is measure 10. So hands separately, because this is, now, it's both a rotation and a little lift. See that eventually, as you get faster and faster, it's going to be, probably, let's see. Let's just stick to 4-note strokes, but not that fast yet, because I really, not at all. Now, eventually, we're going to do impulses, which is the same as I show on my DVD. And so then you get to the top of that. So, but that's how I want you to work on it, and actually just hands separately. It should satisfy your haptic, tactile desire, that, or the longing to feel the key go up and down, which I think any real pianist has.
Yes.
And you have it, I have it, I still have it. I love watching and I love feeling the keys go up and down. And so I want to satisfy that, with these things. It's a wonderful feeling. It's exciting to use your brain and your body that way. So that's how I want you to work on this. Okay, so with your basic stroke and differentiation kind of stuff. Okay, and then finally, well, let's see, you've got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this, and the 6.
Right. So we want to. Let's see. What the Cromer you can work on for about, once again, I'd say 20 minutes.
20.
Mm-hmm. And then you can hit the Schubert, and that's the Schubert and the Beethoven. Those are that's repertory.
These 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You play that in a concert. So
Wait, what concert?
Jury, whatever.
I thought you were saying.
It's concert repertory.
Okay, I thought you were saying, oh, you have to.
No. But eventually,
eventually I will. But
Yeah, the semester, absolutely, sooner than later. But I want to see how you work this thing up yourself. I want to see what you do. Obviously, these are 3-note strokes. And you're going to go on YouTube and find, I'm going to try to remember to give you guys a list of really first-rate pianists, young and old and dead.
okay. And you want myself for both of these?
Your what?
Me figuring it out for both of these?
Yes, actually, because I just for a week, I want to see what you do. Hop up and I'll show you how this one sounds.
Can you give me time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would aim for 45 minutes on this one.
Okay.
And I'd aim for 45 on the other, and add all that up, and that should come to under 3 hours. Okay. Yeah, and so you just put your clock on, So here it is, my little thing. I think, and you need to go on YouTube and start listening and make sure they're credible. Can you tell the difference between Miss Pitty Pat's studio class and when you got a legitimate?
165.
How much?
165, so it's still
45 and 45, yeah, so that's an hour and a half, plus the Chopin is another, what did I say, 20 or so?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I'm saying all of them added together is 165, so it's 2 hours.
Oh, okay, 2 hours, oh, good, good. So, that's a lot slower, but now you'll have to watch that with the octave. And you're gonna have to figure, I'm gonna see while you do your fingers. There are a couple, that's a 2. And then this piano is just not responding very well, it's stuck. And then so on, and then you get to this. And then it goes into that. So you could start by just working on A section,
Yes.
and then the B, part of the B, just this first page. See how long that takes you to really piece it together. I always ask you guys, you can read through it very slowly to get the right notes and the feel for it, and with the right rhythms. But be careful about slopping through it and sort of missing notes and all that. That's where the discipline of being a real musician comes in, to segment it so that you can really work on perfecting each of those.
So,
areas.
yes, you want just the first page for this week, or just the first page and then go further if I can?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. The first page, go further, but I'm not gonna say you need to bring this in next week. You need to bring at least this in
Okay.
and show me exactly how you've worked it up. I would like for you to be able to play this first page.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, and let's see, and also I want you to track your practice. Use a timer. Usually if you put it on 15, the 15 minutes suddenly is gone, you know what I mean? It's like, when you really break it down, I've found, if I say, oh, well, I've got 15 minutes, or I've got 10 minutes, I don't even know the time passed. And so, but if you say, oh, I've got to practice, she said I need to practice 3 hours. It's just like it's a yawning abyss, you know?
Yeah. And
You know what I mean? And then this one, yeah, this one's, this is a 6-note stroke, and I just want in fragments, actually, that one. Anything like that, just fragments. Variation 1, only fragments. Don't try to put it together unless it really feels like you're not accumulating any contraction or tension. Same thing here. Don't plow through that, variation 2. Just do fragments. This is tough. This is tough to do it in this model.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm gonna actually, this week is an experiment to see what kind of independent work you do.
Okay.
And you by all means get a model for this on YouTube or in the library. We have one, I don't know if this is in there, I think it might be, but see what our library has. We have incredible amounts, thousands and thousands and thousands of wonderful sound recordings.
And I have a question. If I practice this for 15 minutes, can I come back and then does it have to be all in, do this 15 and then?
You don't have, and by this time you may, each day, your repertoire, you're gonna need at least that amount of time, right? Is that your question?
No, I'm saying I'm gonna practice it 15 minutes every day, but I'm saying do I have to do it? Do I have to do all of this at once in the same day?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
And I don't think you'll need 15 minutes on this Vandal the first day or so. The repertory and the Cromer, you're gonna
Definitely,
need. Yeah.
yes.
The Chopin will probably come together pretty quickly. So you're gonna get a sense of how you work. I'm experimenting this week with how you work independently and just how much I need to prescribe.
Okay.
You know, I think that's, I don't mind prescribing the entire 3 hours, that's fine with me, but I want to see what you do with it, so. Good job, it's good to see you with your heart sweater there, it's great. All right.